Hey guys, this is my very first vlog. Yay for me. So those of you who don't know, and it's your first time here, I am Creative Karma. You may know me from a few other things. If you actually subscribe to the Cinema Chick, which you should, there should be links on the side. Go check them out. Then you'll know me as Kit Kat when we do Bad Movie Bonanza or Trailer Trash, which is our newest thing. Or the possibility you actually have seen when my friend Cinema Chick was in town and we did some action-themed videos. Those are hilarious. You should check those out as well. But this time, we are back to what I know best, and that is books. And I read a lot of them. If you can see the posters behind me, then you know I'm a fan of Lord of the Rings, and among other things. If you could pick up things behind me, good for you. That's not why we're here. Why we are here is because I finally have read a new book, which I have been wanting to get for a while, because I'm a huge Anita Blake fan. For those who don't know, Anita Blake is a vampire hunter, and there's an entire series of books set in this whole world that had been created by Laurel K. Hamilton. There used to be a graphic novel series that they've been working on, but it doesn't really pan out. However, they still have the books, and I don't know how long it'll keep going. It's more than like 14 books long, so you kind of have to be dedicated if you want to read them. But for right now, we're going to talk about the newest one that came out, called Affliction. Yes, Affliction is the newest Anita Blake book, very thick right now, because it is hardback. It'll come on paperback pretty soon, I'm sure. And, of course, that'll mean it's cheaper. But just to give you some backstory, Anita Blake, of course, is a vampire hunter. It's in a world where, while she's a vampire hunter, vampires now have laws. They know vampires exist. But once you keep in mind, for those who are Twilight fans, this is not a Twilight book. They do not sparkle. They do not walk in sunlight. They do not do all that other stuff. There is romance, but it's not for teens. Keep this in mind. It has very adult themes here. They also have things called lycanthropes or werewolves, but they also have werebears and things like that. And everybody knows they exist too. There are supposed to be laws protecting them, but as with every society, people just treat them differently because you can get infected and turn into one. Now, going on to the actual storyline. Anita Blake has been around a while, and she's made a lot of friends here and there and everywhere. And this is one of those books I had been looking forward to for a while because a lot of the recent ones had not been that good. I haven't really wanted to review them because they just haven't been good. And not even worthwhile to read. It's just sort of filler. And I thought the series was coming to an end. But thankfully this book came out, and in talking with some friends of mine, we said this is one of the better books in the series. I highly recommend this book, but it's better for you to read the entire series, so it will take you a while to get here. If you don't want spoilers for the book, stop watching now. Just go out, start reading the series, find on the internet, find a friend, ebook, whatever you do to find these books. Catch up to this book, then you can read it. For those of you who are still with me, then this book is about Anita, where she actually just doing her normal job, and she gets called up by one of her lover's friends, her mother's friend's mothers, excuse me. And Micah is her lover, and his mother calls saying that his father is very sick, is in the hospital, and is dying. She only has days to get Micah to show up to talk to his father. Otherwise, he's not going to have another opportunity. But when they go down there, it's not just a simple see your father off, goodbye, I miss you, I love you, watch him die sort of thing. She finds out there is more going on here because the thing that's killing him isn't a normal disease. It's actually very rare. And it's a disease that they're calling zombie disease or something like that, where they're getting bit by zombies and they're actually rotting from the inside out. Once it gets to a major organ, you don't have long to live. And they don't have a cure, and it's just something they can do to extend your life and make you as comfortable as possible, and then you go. It was bad in the early days when they had no idea what was going on. They treated it like a regular disease, and now they know what's going on, but they don't know how to fix it or why it's happening or who's doing it. So in the end, Anita actually gets called in to actually help try to figure out what's going on. Who's doing this? Is it a vampire? Is it a zombie? Is it a flesh-eating zombie, which we all have seen in movies? But here they are a little bit different. They just can't rise up on their own, or, it's not some big conspiracy by some company who's created a virus or something like that, as most movies have done these days. They actually have to be raised by somebody else, whether it's a vampire or a human who has the ability to raise them. Anita does, but she wouldn't do this. So who's doing it? And so that's really the stopping point here is, gotta figure out who's doing this and why. And they're not expecting to be able to save his dad's life or anybody else's really, except for people who haven't been infected with this yet. So they have to go through this whole series of things to try and figure out what's going on. And it really is a good book. While there is some sexual things that go on in this book, that's not actually the main focus. A lot of times for the Anita Blake stories, they really overdo it in that arena. In considering the number of lovers she has, that's kind of explanatory. And I won't go into that now. If you want to know more about all of those different lovers, go look it up. There's wikis all over the place about Anita Blake and the characters and all that. But with this, she, has to deal with it, and she has cops that are helping her and stuff, but then she brings in one of my favorite characters, which is Edward. And again, this is not Edward from Twilight. Do not get these two mixed up. When I say I'm Team Edward, I am this Team Edward. Edward from Anita Blake, that is a guy who used to just be a bounty hunter that would kill very hard to kill were-creatures and vampires and things like that. And he's showed up to help Anita because they actually are friends, more or less. He kind of has agreed that if he keeps her alive, then he's going to get to kill more bad guys. If he kills her, he didn't have as much fun. So there's a really interesting dynamic that you don't see in many other books. Because most of them are they're all friends, they're chums, they're pals, whatever you want to call it. And here, it's not really the same. He's kind of lightened up by this point, though. And if you read the books, you'll understand why. But needless to say, they have to figure out what happened, and, I don't want to ruin it for people. I know I've said some spoilers already, but I don't want to ruin the end of the book, so if you want to read it, you can go read it, and it'll be great. So, this is just one of those series that it has highs and lows. It's good, it's bad, it's whatever. But there's a lot of different characters that all have different personalities. I'm surprised sometimes the author can keep it all together and keep them all working at the exact same time. And, I highly recommend trying out the series, reading the book, getting involved with the characters. I will say there probably are characters you're not going to actually like all the time, but I think that's kind of the point. If you have an entire series of characters you all like, and there's no drama between them, what's the point? So, that's a rant from a completely different time. And I have to say, Affliction is actually one of my now favorite books of the series. There are other ones that are actually a lot better, I think, because I personally like the character dynamics more, which I've actually done a review of one of the previous books called Obsidian Butterfly, and if you want to see that, just go back in my history just a little bit, and you'll be able to find that one. And I think I might have done the first one in the series also to get people started on it. But this being the next book in the series, I don't remember exactly how many books are there, so you'll be reading a while if you decide to pick these up. You must be dedicated if you really want to read these. But honestly, it's worth it. It costs you a lot of money probably, but maybe if you find a friend who already has them, you could just borrow them, be a cheapskate, whatever. But yeah, that is my first vlog for my website here at Inkstained Fingers, and I hope to do more in the future. Hope I could find more books. I do want to say here and now that if you have a book you think I should be reading, tell me about it. Post it in my comments. Go to my website, which I will post below in the comments or somewhere. And, post your information there about what book you think I should be reading or what needs a review. I will review good books, bad books, any book. Hey, even ebooks, if there's an ebook out there. It'll be a while before I can get to some of them because, again, with the economy, money is really tight right now. But if there's a free ebook you've picked up that you think I should be reading, let me know what it's called, give me name of the author and name of the book, and I will go look it up and I'll review it and I will send it out to all of you. So, hopefully you enjoyed this review, and hopefully you'll get into reading some of these books, because some of these books really are worthwhile reading. You know, it comes down to it, books are great things. They can take you to a completely different world that you have never been in before, and it can be fun. So, give it a try. Pick up Affliction if you've already read the rest of the series. If you haven't, just start getting them and finding them. Do whatever you got to. Get these books. This is Creative Karma, and you've just seen my very first vlog.